Now for part 2, because the first video was too long.
And while we're doing this one, let me go ahead and tell you about chapter 5. Because this is that murder mystery quilt. So, in chapter 5, they're in the lab. That's why I left you off. So I'm going to be talking in between picking my fabrics. So remember I said that this was this was white. So here's the white fabric. Let's see if I've got enough of it. Yep. Okay, and that is my number 1. So remember, we're going to cut it oversized. And this goes face down, and this goes face up. Okay, so that's going to fit on there like that. And then we're going to, let me go this way so you can read it along with me. So you can see the whole thing's going to fit on there. We don't have a problem with that one. And then we're going to look for this little piece here. This is FF4. And what color is my FF4? It is my black. So this piece here is big enough to go right there. As a matter of fact, we don't need the whole thing. So let's just kind of cut it in half. So that'll cover that. So we want to flip this back over. And let's bring it down a little bit, because we're going to be sewing on, let's see, which line are we sewing on? We're sewing on that little bitty line right there, but all of this needs to have the fabric in it, because we don't really attach this white until we hit the 5th thing. We're more concerned with this, but we still got to make sure it all fits in there because we're not adding to it. Okay, so we're going to flip this over. And this black has to be facing that fabric like this. So we're going to peek and see that it goes right here in this little area. Right there. So I'm just covering the whole thing up. Flipping it over. And I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see. You can see that black right there covering that. Okay. So let's take it over here. And we're sewing it so that we can see the lines on it. So in the lab right now, Kitty and Jonathan, the young man, and then the coroner, which I'm going to refer to her, I think her name is Nolani, but I'll call her Miss N. And then I'm just going to call Angela, which is the young lady who was murdered. I'm just going to call her Angela. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name or anything like that and keep all that straight. But anyway, so they were doing what, if you've seen TV shows, you see how they have to take all the clothing, bag it. They've got to take pictures of everything. So they're doing all of this in the lab. I'm making sure they haven't missed anything. They go to the point where they're trying to identify her with fingerprints, and they found out that they couldn't, because she doesn't have any fingerprints. Excuse me. She, I guess the tips of her fingers are charred, so she doesn't have the grooves that you have when you have the little fingerprints. So Kelly said that the next thing that people would use would be dental records. And since they can't get the fingerprints, they're going to go with the dental records. And Miss N told Jonathan to go over in person to get the records instead of calling on the phone. Because if he calls on the phone, everybody and their brother is going to know who the victim was that was in that pit. And they'd rather keep it as quiet as they can for as long as they can. In the meantime, what had happened before she told him to go over about the records is that they actually found a real clue, and it was a seed that was in Angela's teeth. Now, they're speculating whether it was there. I mean, they know that she didn't eat because she wasn't there at the luau. So the speculation is, did it get in when she fell in the pit, or was it in the pit? So they're trying to figure that out, because that's a pretty good clue, because depending on where that seed could grow on that island, it could tell where the body was actually murdered before it was put in the pit, because they believe that she was murdered before she was put in the pit. So anyway, he went ahead and went over, left to go get the dental records, and the coroner, Miss N, went ahead and started preparing the body, because she said that everybody needs a funeral no matter who they are, and it should be prepared. And then Kelly went ahead and started drawing the seed and examining the seed. And then that was the end of that chapter. Now, on this fabric here, what we want to do is we're going to flip it over, because we're going to want to fold our line, because we want to get our 1/4 inch. Let's see, here is number 3 over here. So that's the excess, and as you can tell, here's 1, here's 2. So anything beyond that we don't need. So I'm going to cut that off. Fold it back. We'll fold this. Whoops, I didn't get that all the way cut off, did I? Okay, somehow that got folded over. Let's take it off here. Let's if my ruler's right side up. Okay, so I need to take it off this way. Okay, let's see here. And then it's off that way. And this is the correct way. Okay, so it covered all of that, which is what we needed, that little spot. And number 3 is over here. And it looks so weird because these are so teeny weeny. That's the problem. Boy, when they get little, it's like a lot of issues. Alright, so this piece needs to be this small, because we're going to be sewing right here. From this line, let me see if you can see it. Yeah. So this whole entire line gets sewn. So it's this piece right here that needs a piece of fabric. So it's FF4. And what is FF4? Which one is it? It is the black one. I always find it weird when they put all these black ones all together. But of course you can't put them together because they got too many angles. So let's see. Would that fit right there? I think. Let me see if that would. I don't know if that's got enough hangover or not. Let me check. Yep, that would work. Okay, so I put it down the 1/4 inch. Make sure that it comes off this edge over here. And I'll have enough there because this is the other black. So we take it over. And actually we're going to do this color here before we do that black over there. Let me lock it in place just like before. that. And then let's see what that color is in the corner. That is FF3, which is this real pretty stuff like this. Let me see if I have a smaller piece, because boy is that a little piece. My goodness. Let me see. That should fit right there. So this is where we have to take it. Since this is our number 4, we need to be folding it on the line to get rid of our excess. If you don't get rid of the excess, all that other stuff will be bulk and it'll all be in your fabric seam and it won't lay down. That's the reason we have to do all of this. Let me flip it over here to the table and take this off. And then we're going to put the FF3 in there, which is this color here. And if we do this right here, we know that that will cover all of that. So we'll flip this over. This is where it would help to have my individual cameraman. Or one of those GoPros on top of my forehead, which I've seen some people have. I believe Kimberly's got one of those for when she does her cross stitch and shows all of us. Looks like one more stitch. There we go. Flip this upside down. Flip the paper upside down. This is where you fold it. I'm going to take our 1/4 inch off. Now, if you go over the end when you're sewing this, if you go over the line, you won't be able to fold this back over because your stitch will have gone on up through here. For example, let's see if I can show you where my stitch ended. Right there where my stitches ended. If you accidentally went too far, it would be stitching in here, which would keep you from folding this over correctly. So be mindful of that. Alrighty, let's take this off here. Now we're looking at the black again. So now I need a fresh piece here. Because it's going to go this entire length here. So we're going to cut it off about right here. Paper over here. Gonna lay it down like that. So that when we flip it, it covers it. Okay. Better to have too much than not enough. Okay. Take it over here to the machine. Flip it over so we can see our lines. I hope you guys are getting the hang of this. This really makes for precision sewing, believe me. Everything comes out perfect. You'll never have a problem with your 1/4 inch or anything else when you do paper piecing. Then we've got to be really careful in this corner so we do not overlap this diamond here, which is what I've come up against. I'm trying to see if I got another stitch or not. I don't think so. Okay. And that was number 5, and so number 6 is going to be this FF3. might as well just fold our paper right now while we're over here without the material, because we're going to have to here in a minute. Let's get that folded. Press our fabric. Okay, let's take it over to the table. Alright. Put our 1/4 inch down here. Take that off. Okay. And then, let's see here. It is showing 6 and then 7 and 8. So you know what? I did not fold the right line. I need to fold this line. I didn't cut enough fabric off. Okay. It's like I lost a color, but alright, here we go. Alright, so FF3 comes next here, and my FF3 is that pretty stuff right here, so I think I'm going to need to cut, well, wait a minute, here we go. We're going to have a piece right here. That's going to fit, and it only really needs to go to there, because here's the end of it right here, but we're going to overlap it, so we will sew that right there. That's what we're going to do. Let's take this up to the machine over here. You know, you can make your own paper piecing with some grid paper. Draw out whatever you want. Or you could actually just take a piece of paper, whatever size you want, put your 1/4 inch on it and draw some lines. Make it as easy or as hard as you want. Oh, I think I might have one more. Yes. Okay. Alright, so it's still upside down. Now we bend that paper. And we're going to take this excess off. And actually, I'm going to take this off over here first. Let's turn it this way, because I want to use this right-hand piece. And I don't want to chop it up. So let's do this. I think I can use that piece right there. Let's go ahead and get this corner here. There's not going to be any of the colors on it. Alright. Now, so number 7 is next. So we're going to fold it on the 7 line. And we're going to take our 1/4 inch off. Oops. Like that. Going to go right here, and I think that if we do this and flip it over, it will cover all of that, which is what we want. Make sure that's pressed enough. Okay, we'll take it over here. I can see the pieces sticking out. So here's where we're sewing, just this number 7, A7, same color as 6. One more. Jeez. doing this we're going to be doing this BG1, which happens to be blue. So let's fold our paper here. Okay. Let's take it over there and cut off the excess. Okay. Let's get this corner ruler here. Alright, let's get the blue. And it needs to fit that piece right there. Let's see, would that fit that? Nope, that's pushing it here on the corner, so I don't want that piece. This piece might, right here will work though. Let me cut the edge here. Let's cut it so I got a straight edge. No, let's just... Okay. There we go, and that'll look good. I know that will fit. Let's put that on there next. I'm doing the 8th one. Got one more to go, number 9. It's also the same color. Fold this right here, take all the excess off. Alright, we're taking this off. And now we need a piece for this. Let's go with the darker, I think. I don't know if I want to go light to dark or dark to light. What do I want to do here? Do I want to do that or do I want to do this? I think I want to do that. Let's do that. Okay, so need to cut it about right here. Alrighty. This, and it will cover that whole thing. I'm debating, should I have the, maybe I ought to have the light so it kind of looks like it goes like that. Maybe that would look better. I think I'll do it that way. That whole thing will fit. Okay, let's do it that way. All right. See my 1/4 inch sticking out there. Oh, I have plenty. Hit that last ditch right on the nose. Okay. Turn it over. Now all we gotta do is trim it and starch it. Alright, let's take it over here and trim it. Alright, we're going to take it and trim it. it looks like. Let me spray starch it. I'll bring it back and we'll look at all of them. So the trick to keeping these straight after you starch them is what you do is you starch them, you let them dry a little bit, turn them upside down, stack them on top of each other, and put something a little bit heavy on them, and then they become straight. That's what I've done with every one of them. I'm going to put them up here on the design wall so you can see them all. Here's what they all look like. They're all 6.5 inches. And we are told to hold on to these because we're going to be making some more. They're going to be the center of our quilt, evidently. So I hope you like this video and you learned something. And you try it, paper piecing, if you've never tried it before. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.